Today on The Boot Guy, we are looking at the 804-3311, the pull-on steel toe Wellington from THOROGOOD, American Heritage line. Right there. So the fortunate part about this boot is that I got this boot a while back. I've had it running around here in the studio for a while now. I've been wearing them around. I have another pair that I've been wearing outdoors. But the really good part is when I first got them, I took them out and I shot some photos of them. And I took them out on the street. And by me posting those photos on Instagram, it got you guys, my 1,800 subscribers out there to say, hey, look at that. I got that boot. So I've been able to be in contact with 3 of you guys talking back and forth about what you like about the boot and what you don't like about a boot. And I've been able to compare that against my own opinion on this boot and just based off of the build and the quality of everything. And I gotta say, putting all that information together, I've been able to come up with a really good diagnosis on just how really nice this boot is for a pull-on Wellington boot that is more of a work boot and less of a Western style boot. It truly is a work Wellington boot. So we gotta start with the sole because this 90-degree max wear sole is everything that we love about a wedge sole when it comes to max wear wedge soles from THOROGOOD. It's got the cushion, it's got the bounce, it's got the added durability, but what it has is a different sole pattern. The sole pattern on the 90 really matches the style of boot this is. Because it's a pull-on boot and because this is going to be worn in a different environment from a regular wedge sole 8-inch boot, this pattern really helps out when you're in mud, when you're in dirt. It's not too deep, but it's the right shape that mud and stuff just kind of sheds right off it. You can bump it, scrape it, get all that stuff out of there, and you got traction. As we know, the Maxwear 90 is a slip-resistant sole, so it does really well from surface to surface, even when there is water present. You're still getting a very nice, sticky, gummy feeling sole. Now, the 3311 is fully welted and awesome because that means this thing's going to be resolable. So as you wear through that sole, remember Maxwear, though it does last a lot longer than most soles out there, it will wear down. I mean, we're talking work boots here. We are not talking about, a casual boot here. We're talking about something you're putting on 6 days a week, spending 15 hours in. You're going to beat it up, you're going to wear it down. But that full welt and the fact that THOROGOOD now offers the service to put new soles on, they offer a whole reconditioning service, which is just awesome. So once you wear this thing down, you're going to be able to get something new on there. All right, so leather. Trail Crazy Horse leather. It's beautiful. It is, I realize that I use the word beautiful a lot, but the leather is beautiful. The hand of it, the amount of oil that they put into this leather, just the way it feels and the way it works in extra warm environments. Because there's not a lot going on inside this boot, it's just a leather and a vamp, you're getting a lot of heat that just kind of flashes off this boot. So with the right socks on in this boot, you're actually going to keep your foot at a nice, comfortable temperature. And a lot of that has to do with the design of the boot, that THOROGOOD put a lot of time and energy into just making a boot that's going to be more friendly to the types of guys that wear pull-on Wellington boots. Now it does have a fiberglass shank running from here to here. In that shank you really do feel it, because when you're thinking about Maxwear and you're thinking about the whole wedge sole, you need a shank, but it isn't like you need a shank for a lot of things. But now that you've thinned up that section of boot, you've taken that away, you're going to be climbing this boot, you're going to be kicking shovels, you're going to be just using that heel as a tool. Having that fiberglass shank really does make all the world of difference. Though it's in every pair of boots, having that 90-degree heel, having that fiberglass shank really does help out. Now, the one thing that me and the guys have all said about this boot, we all agree upon, is that it is super comfortable. What makes it comfortable is the USA footbed. Now, I realize I call these insoles all the time, but this is a footbed. THOROGOOD is pretty on the mark about calling this a footbed. For most of us, they're insoles. We're gonna go with footbed. But USA, and one of my favorite, I have USA insoles in all my boots. I take them out of every pair of boots I can once the boots are dead. And the USA insole is usually okay. It can go from boot to boot. The comfort, the durability, and the fact that when this thing is sweaty, and these boots do get sweaty, when they do get sweaty, you pull this thing out and it dries overnight and it feels like a fresh pair of boots. Underneath the USA insole is a chunk of Poron, and Poron, soft, bouncy, comfortable, really makes a difference when you're adding these three elements together. The USA footbed, that Poron, and this sole is like walking on, it's like walking on a cloud. And that's what we all agreed upon. The actual time spent walking around or even standing around waiting for something to happen, the boots got a lot of nice space inside there. The clearance with the steel toe, the clearance with the leather, and the way it all goes together really works well, especially when you pick up the right size. All right, let's talk about size and fit. If you've never worn pull-on boots before, this is probably a really good place to start with your introduction to pull-on work boots, mainly because it's an American-made boot. It's made correctly, it fits good, it's comfortable, it's got all those things going on. But the one thing that THOROGOOD did really well is they kept it a work boot. They didn't try to build the pull-on Wellington around a Western style. They built it around a classic work Wellington style. And it really shows, and you really feel it right here. Because most of the time with other Wellingtons, they're trying to build it around a Western style boot. So this comes in a little bit more. It's a little bit more narrow here. But since it's a work boot, you're able to make this turn and get this boot on really easily. The other thing is they used a nice tight heel cup, and the heel does come back a little bit right flush with the outside of the sole, and that makes for a really nice position for your foot to sit in, especially when you think you're going to have this thick USA footbed down inside there with that Poron. Having this heel cup built correctly to incorporate those two things really makes a big difference. Now, here's the one thing that the four of us can agree on, is that this boot, at the end of the day, 12, 15 hours when you are sweaty and your feet are hot and wet from sweat, taking them off can be a little difficult. So you are gonna need a boot jack. I mean, it makes all the difference. If you don't own one, you'll own one now, because having pull-on boots just means eventually you're gonna start buying more pull-on boots once you realize just how comfortable of a style of boot it really is. But you're gonna need a boot jack. Now, you can kick them off with the edge of your truck, you can kick them off on the edge of your stair, but having a boot jack really helps your back out. Now, outside of all that, construction-wise, being an all-American made boot, yeah, you know what? The construction really shows through. This is like all good THOROGOOD American-made, American heritage boots. You can really see the hand of the craftsman all through the boot. Every part is just beautifully done. The MOC stitch toe on a Wellington boot looks great. It feels great. Everything about it is great. Now, if I could talk about one thing on this boot, it is the finishing. Now, The finishing on it is nice and clean. The stitching is beautiful. The time spent building these boots really shows through, but the finishing is it. Most of the time when I see Wellingtons like this, especially work Wellingtons, the finishing kind of lacks. They're not really taking their time. They're just getting them built and getting them back in the box so they can be sold. But I can tell that the people at THOROGOOD really took their time to finish these boots off nicely. So that's the safety toe 804-3311 by THOROGOOD. Hey, if you're currently wearing a pair of the 804-3311s, please comment below and let guys know what you truly love about them. And if you're not in love with them, if you've got a problem, also comment below. Let guys know what to look for. If you got any advice for somebody picking up a pair of these as their first pair of Wellingtons, stuff that I might have missed, please comment below and just help guys out. Because wearing a pair of Wellingtons on the job in the right situations could make for a really comfortable day. If you want to see some of the detailed photos I took of this boot, swing by to bootguy.com. I'll have all that in a blog posting titled 804-3311. Please don't forget to hit my subscribe button below. You know it really helps out. And if you're on Instagram or Twitter, remember you can always follow me there and also check out my new Facebook page. Hey, if you're about to pick up a pair of these 804-3311s and you just got a few questions about size and fit, since I've had contact with other subscribers from the channel and we've talked about this boot since they own the boot and they work in it every single day, I think I could help you make that decision a little bit easier. All right, until the next time, I'm the Boot Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.